Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Believe in San Diego Baseball podcast. We're back here on this Believe Network thing we got going on. My name is Alex Miniak. I am your host alongside the three-time All-Star. His name is Heath Bell. Heath had a chance to see you over the weekend. We're going to be talking about Savannah Banana Baseball in just a little bit. We will also unveil our latest nominee for the Friar Fave Award here on the show. But first, I got to talk Colorado. I got to be honest, I saw none of these games. We were a little busy.
Yeah, a little busy, but I kind of was watching on my phone a little bit, so I saw a little bit of them.
Hey, as long as I get the stats line, the box scores like the old days, I'm good. You know, growing up in Florida, I used to get up for school at like 6 in the morning, and I would go out to the driveway and get the paper, and I would just put the paper on the dining room table and read all the box scores from the night before, and that's how I got all my baseball information from any West Coast game. You know, reading a box score, that's fine for me. I can get everything I need to know out of a box score.
We grew up with reading the newspaper. Now it's like social media, and you got to have videos, so everybody puts videos on, and they probably don't even see a box score. They just watch the videos.
No, there was a whole back page of them, and all the print was about, like 2 point. And we had to search through to find out what the heck happened. Reading these box scores, I found a couple of things interesting. One, I think the starting rotation is starting to get a groove back. Friday, Pavetta, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, but only gives up 2 runs. Quality start. Saturday, Vasquez, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits. Again, only 2 earned runs. Quality start. Sunday, Cease, 5 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 1 run. And then coming back home to Petco last night, Yu Darvish, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 runs. King is going tonight. You feeling good about this rotation settling down a little bit, getting a little more life out of them, a few more innings?
Yeah, I feel like the pitching staff, just kind of went into a rut. Usually you have 1 or 2 guys that don't go into a rut. You might have like 3 that do. It's very rare that everybody kind of goes into a rut, but they're good enough pitchers where it's not going to last forever, maybe a start or 2, and then things will turn around. So, and it's starting to get that turn right now. So I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging. I think to do that at Coors too raises the bar a little bit. It gets everybody feeling good again.
We're probably watching the Colorado guy throwing almost a no-hitter against us.
Well, Coors is weird like that. And, surviving a weekend at Coors and winning the series, Padres are still in the hunt for the division. I know it seems crazy, especially the last couple of weeks. 1 game back. And if the season ended today, the Padres would have the second wild card and would travel to Chicago. Now, if they were winning the West, they would still play in that wild card round, but they would host the Mets at Petco. That 1 game could be a huge difference. I mean, I love the pennant, but I'm thinking about the home field.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been saying, I think the Padres are going to get get a little hot. They're going to get streaky or whatnot. And everybody's been saying, well, usually home run teams are streaky. And I'm like, well, and the Padres haven't showed that much power as a team. And I'm like, but the potential is there where all of a sudden the Slam Diego might start showing up. So, and I'm happy with winning the series, and I'm happy with, base hits and small ball. So like they won last night, they got a bunt over in extra innings and then ended up winning it. So it's playing good baseball is the key. And if you watch any championship team in the world, World Series or the playoffs every year, they're always playing good baseball. They're playing smart baseball. And, I think the Padres are very capable of doing that.
Yeah, they are. And I think, getting off to a home start to the playoffs would really be good, because in either scenario, they would have to be the road team against Philadelphia or Milwaukee.
They play better at home than on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Philly, few injuries, I get it, but Milwaukee is so hot, and they're not showing any signs of cooling down. I would rather get some home cooking in early, get established, and get rolling. That's my feeling on that.
Yeah, and they play really well at home and not so much on the road. So I definitely want to win the division so we can play at home.
Absolutely. Well, while the Padres were in Colorado, we had something going on at Petco Park. The Savannah Bananas against those pesky firefighters who did put up a heck of a fight those couple of nights, Friday and Saturday at Petco Park. Heath, to the surprise of 40,000 people, comes out with 2 outs left in the 6th inning, donning that head-to-toe yellow, rocking that banana uniform, coming out to the hill to try to end that inning. Heath, I want to talk about, I know what it looked like from my perspective. I got to work a little bit this weekend, but I want to know what your day, top to bottom, from what you ate for breakfast to what you drank before you went to sleep that night, what it was like being a Savannah banana. Lay it on me.
Okay, the night before, start that off.
Whatever.
Oh, the night before I was hanging out with some friends at the casino at Saquon's. And then that morning, I went to a friend's house, just kind of actually went and had dim sum. It's a Chinese brunch. Then went to a friend's house that was coming to the game with me and went and hung out there and then went to the game and got there early, talked to most of the guys, found out some of my ex-teammates like Josh Spence was a Padre, his brother, Liam, it plays for the Firefighters right here. And
cool.
Just talked to some of the guys because I played against the Bananas 2 years ago. And everybody was really friendly. Everybody was, asking me if I was going to slide or whatnot, seeing everybody at Petco Park. Met the grounds crew guy, Matt, that, I've known for years. That's, taking care of the Petco Park for years. And he just looked at me like, you're not sliding on the dirt. You're not messing up my field. So we had a long decision and long concept of let's slide at second base. So I started watching the game, hunkered down, hit around before the fans could see, and then put the yellow on and was excited and ran out, slid into second. There was 2 guys on with 2 outs, and they give me the ball, and he gives me a low toss, and I kind of drop it because I was ready to shake his hand. I was, instead of catch the ball, and then he's like, sorry, got to let 2 guys on, and I was like, I get used to this all the time, I'll get out of it. So then I threw the first pitch curveball inside. I didn't want to just lay one over the middle. Then I threw kind of a little cutter, and I ain't throwing hard these days, so that cutter turned into a slider and turned into a ball. And I was like, okay, I got to throw a fastball. So I threw a fastball straight, got a strike. Then I was like, all right, let's throw this cutter again because I don't want him to. Last time I faced the Bananas, somebody hit a bomb off me. So threw a little cutter, and guy popped up to right field. Did the little flossing shimmy shake on the mound.
Yeah.
Had a good time. So did some interviews, was kind of probably out of breath and speechless. And it was almost like getting called up to the big leagues my first year. But this was way more fun and way more exciting. And it was a great experience to be with the San Diego Padres, organization and the fans being there. So it was surreal. And then, the next day, Trevor, Hall of Fame boy, got to come in and close it out. So I think all the fans got to see the 2 best closers in San Diego history back to back on Friday and Saturday. And trust me, I got chills when I heard Hell's Bells. So it was pretty awesome. First day got to play. Kind of a little hectic, seeing everybody the next day, kind of really got to enjoy it and enjoy Trevor coming in. And it was just a great weekend all around.
Yeah, I had a blast. It was my goal to just kind of be a fly on the wall and see how this whole show works, because I've been a fan for a long time. I've watched it on TV. I've read the books, seen the social media. And it was just my goal to kind of like hang out and observe. I almost wanted to be a banana intern and just kind of hang out. I ended up getting a job thanks to my boss at the Padres, and I got to run the little ribbon scoreboards that are attached to the fascias of the decks of the terrace level deck. at Petco Park. So anytime you saw flames or anytime you saw lights or anytime you saw matchup or that clock, that was me. That was my contribution to the show. So I can say I helped produce a banana show, and 2 of them, as a matter of fact. And it was super cool. You know, I walked in as a fan and I walked out an evangelist of it. I just thought there's a saying that I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. It's kind of the same thing. You know, I went to SNL and a baseball game broke out. You know, you compared it to SNL, the last podcast we did, and I just thought it was so fun. Like, it's everything that I would want to see if I was a kid in those stands. You know, when I was a kid, you got excited about touchdown spike, the Icky shuffle, anything that was a little bit of showmanship. And this is 2 hours, add an hour of pregame and a postgame on top of that, and it's just showmanship for half a day. And it's so cool and it's so fun, and I'm getting excited talking about it again because it really was that fun.
One of the best things is all the players and coaches love to be a part of it, and it's not like they're going through the motion. You know, they've been doing this for months now, and, you know, for a couple, they've been doing this since 16, but they're generally love to do what they do. And, you know, like some of my friends are like, it's a 2-hour time limit, and my game actually ended with the backflip to left field, caught with 1 second on the clock. And they looked at me and they were like, this isn't scripted? And I'm like, no, it's not scripted. And the funny part is, out of all 4 teams, because you got the Texas Tailgaters, you got the Party Animals and the Firefighters, and then, you know, the OG Savannah Bananas. I think if I'm correct, it's the Party Animals have the best record this year. You know, I think the Bananas are in 2nd or 3rd place. They won both this weekend, so maybe they got into 2nd. But they've been tearing it up, the Party Animals. You know, I heard they're adding 2 more teams to kind of really get a league. And you never know who's actually going to win. And, you know, the great part is all the trick plays. You know, and you get bonuses for more trick plays. So it's pretty cool. They keep stats on how many, like, that's your 100th trick play of the year or something like that. So it's always interesting what trick's going to come up next. And, yeah, it's just exciting. It just brings a smile.
I sat next to the scorekeeper for those 2 nights, and to watch him punch score in an event or a game like that, he was like, this is so weird, but it was also so fun. You know, he's keeping track of points versus runs and trick plays and banana ball and a clock. And it was just cool, you know, and I gotta give it to these guys too, because it's not about I mean, it is about baseball, but these guys are just remarkable athletes. What they perform, dance moves, anything, skits. I mean, it's full talent from top to bottom. And like I said, I walked out an evangelist. I knew what I was getting into, but when I walked out, I got a lot more than I bargained for. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's a great show. If anybody gets ever a chance to go. I mean, really, it is.
And you know, I came down and saw you before the game in the suite. You had a nice little setup down there, but I think you might have been a little nervous. You got to go down there in the batting tunnel and warm up a little bit and get some tosses over the plate. Did you feel good heading out there on the mound?
You know, the only nervous thing was to see how my shoulder was, because I don't throw a whole lot anymore. Just make sure I can get it 60 feet 6 inches, and I only threw like 10 to 15 to warm up, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. They're like, you sure you want to throw more? I'm like, no, if I throw more, it might start hurting, so we're good.
Hey, and I got to tell you did great, and I know this is a family show, but yellow is sexy on you, brother. I got to tell you, it's a good look. They should retire. Yeah. They should retire that jersey back in Savannah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to retire it here in my room here.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you know, I can't wait for them to come back. I can't wait to see you on the mound again. And it was a lot of fun. And I have a feeling, based on the response that they want to come back. I know that Jesse Cole had made comments about how cool Trevor's intro was, and just seeing 100,000 people come out to the ballpark over those couple of days was just a magical thing. So I think we made quite the impression here in San Diego.
Yeah, I think we did too.
All right, well, coming up next here on Believe in San Diego Baseball. By the way, if you've not followed us yet, maybe this is your first time listening to our little banter here, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so that you can get episode after episode. We try to be on twice a week for you. I try to deliver great insight, great commentary, well, a little baseball talk we throw in as well. Again, the name of our show, Believe in San Diego Baseball. That's spelled BLEAV. Again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you find your podcast. Coming up next, we've had an ongoing thing going on here on the show, the Friar Fave Award. We're trying to find the fan favorite player as voted on by you at BelieveInSD.com, BLEAVINSD.com. And we're going to unveil our next nominee, and that's going to be coming up in just a couple minutes. So hang with us here on Believe in San Diego Baseball. Welcome back to Believe in San Diego Baseball, the podcast, here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. My name is Alex Miniak, alongside the three-time All-Star, former Padre, former Banana, maybe current Banana. Maybe he'll go out on tour with these guys. His name is Heath Bell. We were just talking about Savannah Bananas and pitching at Petco. Well, we've got our next Friar Fave nominee, and this week it's a pitcher. Last week, we had Jose Iglesias, and before that we had Gavin Sheet. So it's time to go into the bullpen and pull out David Morgan. David Morgan, if you don't know the guy, he's new this year. It's his rookie season in the Padre pinstripes. He's a SoCal guy, San Diego native, raised in OC, Padres fan his whole life. This is really a great story. He loved Peavy and Hoffman growing up. He goes out of Mission Viejo High. He goes right into Orange Coast College as an infielder. He commits to Oregon, and then COVID hits. Season canceled, can't do anything. Then he commits to Kansas State, but that required him to sit out a year from JUCO. So he went to NAIA ball. He's not drafted. He signs with the Padres in 22, and then he converts to being a pitcher. So this guy goes from being an undrafted infielder, shortstop, third baseman, goes to the Arizona Complex League in 22, becomes a pitcher, and hits some majors 3 years later with a 2.80 ERA over 38 games this season. I love this. This is a rags to riches sort of self-made story. It's definitely the kind of guy you want to root for and a good candidate for a fan fave.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of a little bit of Trevor Hoffman back in the day before he found that palm ball. So, Trevor was a shortstop back in the day with the Reds, couldn't hit apparently, and they stick him on the mound, and the Marlins picked him up. Then the Padres traded for him like the first week of the season, and then he pretty much stayed there the rest of his career. But Morgan, I think, is a young, talented, good arm that could be in the Padre uniform for a very long time and probably be one of the good core setup, middle relief guys for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a call up. I believe he got called up in May, and, he stepped up. He stepped up in the bullpen. He's been relied on some big situations. And now he's going to have another chance to step up as well. In Jason Adams' absence, I feel confident. He seems confident when he's out there. He's got the eye of the tiger. What are your thoughts on him being in more of a setup role as opposed to like a long relief or kind of coming in when there's a large lead or deficit?
I could see him as a setup guy or being him as a seventh inning guy. So I think he could really do that role. We just have to wait and to see if Mike's going to put him there. But I think he has the stuff. And what I've seen on the mound so far, it seems like he's got the head for it. So he's not too high. He's not too low. He's perfect for the bullpen. So I like watching him pitch.
I enjoy watching him pitch. I'm rooting for the guy. Great story. Again, that rags to riches sort of story. Found his niche, found his calling, and he's taking the most advantage of it as possible, I think. And that's the guy that you want to root for. Of course, fans, In order to award this award, we're going to need you to go onto our website and vote. It's BLEAVINSD.com. Click on the fan poll, and you will see them. If you're watching the video podcast, Heath just showed you how to do it. Just pull out the phone. Just go to the website. It's very easy. Just click. You'll have 4 options there. And, next week we will nominate our 4th and final nominee for the Friar Fave Award. Well, coming up on Thursday, Heath, it's National Video Game Day this week. We're going to talk video games. And, by the way, we got a couple more milestones to talk about that happened over the last couple weeks here in Friarland. I know we just had Banana Land. We're back to Friarland. One of them was immaculate, and we'll talk about that next time. Thanks for checking us out. For Heath Bell, I am Alex Miniak, and we'll catch you on Thursday on Believe in San Diego Baseball.
See ya.